had a wonderful holiday season and a lovely first few days of the new year. And believe it or not, it is officially the year 2024. I am so excited because I love the new year. I think it is a time where there's a lot going on. There is the reflection and gratitude for the past 365 days. Just kind of take an inventory on all of the experiences that have unfolded, the surprises and delights you never expected, and just all the blessings that came in that just make life so beautiful. And then there's also this hope and optimism and excitement for all the things that are to come in the new year. So I wanted to take some time in this video today to just sort of go over the intentions I want to set in 2024 and just clarifying my vision for the new year and going through that with all of you. I think over the past few years, I've kind of drifted away from more materialistic type of goals and habits because I just have sort of felt like those don't necessarily stick. I don't know about you, but I think for me, I'll get started on a few things and be progressing for the first few weeks of the year, and then they'll fizzle out because things get busy. And then I kind of feel this sense of dissatisfaction that I didn't accomplish something. So I think I've more so shifted this practice into setting intentions for how I want to feel in the new year. So when I can look back, I can say that I genuinely felt joy or contentment or whatever, fill in the blank, during 2024. So it definitely comes more from a space of experiencing and feeling rather than doing and accomplishing. So I really love that approach. I think that more of an inside out approach is something that I've really taken on in this past year particularly, and something that I just want to continue on for the rest of my life. So even though we're in the middle of winter and this season is more so for going inwards, slowing down, resting, not really doing a whole lot of things, this season really does have this fresh start sort of feeling. A lot of people say to set intentions and goals for the year during the spring equinox, so I think that's a great time to do it as well when we're starting to come out of our shells a little bit more. But for the sake of today and for the present moment, I don't think it's ever a bad time to set new intentions and reflect and realign. Of course, we're going to start with a little 2023 in review, just to kind of touch on some highlights, certain discoveries that we've made throughout the past 365 days. And then I want to go into intentions for different categories of my life. So things like personal intentions, career intentions, health, travel, spirituality, personal growth, things like that. And then a huge trend that was happening during this new year time is the ins and outs for 2024. And if you haven't seen that trend, basically the ins are a list of anything that you want to bring into the new year. And then the outs portion is anything that you want to leave behind or release in the past year. So let's get started because this is going to be a fun reflection piece. So 2023, just briefly, I want to look back on this year. I think that it was a year of a lot of growth, but it was very subtle and under the surface. I felt like a lot of my roots were getting pulled out, and I let go of a lot of things that I had held close to my chest. And because of that, I've been growing and evolving. I don't think 2023 was one of those years where I had a huge quantum leap transformation or I changed my whole life for the better, but I do really, really love what ended up panning out. I can genuinely say I feel so successful in this year just because I was so content with the journey. And even though a lot of things did happen that I didn't love, there were some losses, there were some uncertain, difficult seasons, I feel so proud of myself that I was able to approach those seasons more so with an open heart than I would have normally, and not react to it in the same way I would have in the past. So that is another really big goal I have for 2024, which I will get into later. I think being able to become more observant in situations rather than reactive is something that was a huge takeaway from this year. The biggest thing that I think came about from this year was just really implementing a lot of spiritual practices, which to me entails letting go of things instead of being so attached to them. I think that I really learned that lesson that suffering comes from being attached to certain expectations that you have created in your mind. And once I started realizing that those were thought patterns and loops, and separating myself and my core from those circumstances, I found so much more peace. So I want to continue practicing that so much, not only in 2024, but for the rest of time, because the more I can be here now, the more that I can be rooted in this moment and expand from there, instead of, constantly grasping for a past situation and trying to change the impossible or projecting into the future that's just not here yet. So there's so much power in the present moment, and that is a beautiful thing to learn. The book of the year for me was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This book transformed my whole perspective on life, but then Stephen actually read it back in March of this year, and that completely opened things up for him as well. And it has been a game changer, not only in our own lives, but we're able to integrate the concepts into our relationship as well. So if I could recommend any book that I read during 2023, it would be that one. I think it's absolutely game changing. It's one that I could read over and over again and always learn something new. It's going to be one of those books that whatever you're ready to hear, it's going to pop out at you at the time when you're reading it. So anyways, those are some big reflections of 2023. And as far as tangible things that happened, there were two big things that happened in 2023 that I did not expect. Number one is that I went skydiving in Costa Rica, and I shared this story on my podcast, which I can link in the description below if you're looking for more of a full story. But Stephen wanted to go skydiving for his 30th birthday. I went to support him, and by the time he was going to get on the plane, I had been convinced, I guess sort of by the people working there, but more so from myself, that if I was ever going to do it, that was the moment. And I seized this life opportunity that just showed up, and it was perfectly orchestrated. And I said yes to something that I thought I would never say yes to. It was this huge lesson for me about letting go and trusting and surrendering to the universe and whatever it presents you. And it was something that I will always be proud of and reflect back on. And I'm so grateful that I did that. And the other thing I thought that I was never going to do that I did this year is I cut my hair really short. I have always had long hair, like down to here, since late middle school, early high school. And it was an attachment. I treasured my hair. It was like my prized possession. And I was like, I'm never going to cut this off ever. And this year, I just noticed it started becoming a little bit heavy on, I don't know, I guess on the maintenance or on the way that I was feeling about it. So I was just ready to let it go, let go of some weight. And honestly, I have been loving it. I think that it's brought a lot of ease into my life, and it's actually really cute, and I love it. And I don't know if I'm going to keep it short. I don't know if I'm going to grow it long again, but just the fact that I was able to do that and let go of 9 or 10 inches of hair is a huge thing for me. So those were two things I did not expect to happen this year. I did not plan for those things, and they just sort of showed up. So now we're going to clarify the 2024 vision a little bit further and go into the different intention sections that I wrote down for this year. So again, we're going to go through personal, health, travel, career. So we'll start with personal intentions. And the first thing that I have on that list is to cultivate a soft life and romanticize simple life moments. I just want to live a life that feels so content and harmonious and beautiful from the inside out. And I think I spent so many years thinking that the only way to feel true happiness and true success was by pushing harder and harder and harder and accomplishing things. And there's just not a sense of fulfillment for me there. The sense of fulfillment that I get is by really being with myself, with my loved ones, and appreciating the life that is in front of me to its fullest extent. So I think to romanticize life and cultivate that soft life, there's so many things that you can do that make you start noticing it frequently. So one of my favorite things to do to romanticize life is to make a piece of content out of a seemingly mundane thing. So if you're making a video of something that is typically just, okay, you're going to a cafe, you're having a cup of coffee and you're leaving. But if you start taking little video clips of different aspects of the cafe and you put it together and you look back on it, you notice how much beauty is within that simple moment of your life. Maybe you were only there for 30 minutes, but there was so much going on. So the cool thing about this approach is that you start noticing little bits of beauty, and the portion of your brain called the reticular activating system looks for what you believe. So if you believe that there's beauty out there, you're going to constantly be seeking it and finding it. So I really want to use that muscle in 2024 and continue to do that. I think that's something that I've done for a long time, but we're just going to keep cultivating it. So next is finding the joy and contentment in the day-to-day life moments. We spend the majority of our time in the mundane or the day-to-day. And if we are constantly waiting and waiting for this peak of happiness to occur, we're going to miss out on so much of our life. And that could be waiting for a vacation, waiting for an event, for our wedding day, for whatever it is. And those things just happen so quickly and temporarily, and then we're back to the day-to-day. So cultivating joy within that space, I think, is one of the best things that we can do to live a more fulfilled and content life overall. So next would be prioritizing peace, especially internal peace. There is no way to control everything that's happening outside of us, but prioritizing our own peace on the inside is what can absolutely make or break any situation. Next would be detachment from the way that I think things should go. Like I mentioned before, suffering is the result of attachment. And anytime that I've been really upset in my life, it's because I've been attached to a certain outcome or the way that things needed to go to satisfy my own mind and my own ego's preferences. So the more that I can lean into trusting the universe's timing, knowing that things are always working out for me, the more peaceful I'm going to feel. And the more that I can be in the flow of life instead of fighting against it. I just have no interest in swimming against the current of life anymore, because I've noticed the more that I can be in flow, the more beautiful things show up. And the last thing on that list is to notice more invisible strings and synchronicities. I think my favorite thing in the world is a synchronicity story. They're happening all the time, and you don't always notice them because we can be so busy and so distracted, but being able to notice that beautiful things occur because of this orchestration that happened behind the scenes just gives me so much hope and excitement for whatever is to come. So next is going to be health intentions. And at this current moment, I think this is the most important category for me. I keep finding myself getting distracted by all these things I'm trying to create in my life. And when it comes down to it, I have this knowing inside of me that says, focus on your health and everything else will fall into place. So that's what I'm intending to do. Long story short, I can make another video about this in the future, but I got really bad toxic mold illness back in 2018 and 19 from an apartment I was living in, and it caused so many health issues for me that I'm still untangling to this day. When you are exposed to toxic mold, there is so much inflammation in your system and so much fear because this toxic substance got into your body. So basically all of your alarms are flipped on, and that is what causes a lot of symptoms and a lot of the mental health issues that come along with it. I have felt like my body has really done a good job at healing, but there is still this really big missing piece, which is helping these alarm systems in my body turn off. I still experience really crippling anxiety and fear a lot of time, and I just want to feel at peace. Like I said before, the number one thing, and this is like my major action item of the year, I genuinely want to regulate my nervous system. So when it comes to my health, I really think that regulating my nervous system is something that I haven't given a good honest try to yet, and I'm so ready to do it. I am starting Primal Trust, which is a nervous system regulation program that I have been hearing about from so many different sources. I'm really excited to try it. I just started it a couple days ago and I'm already learning so much, and I am so ready to implement the practices. So that is my number one health goal and action item of the year. We're making some health progress in 2024, and I will keep you guys updated on how that goes. So the other things I have on my health intentions list is to learn more about somatics, which is also going to be part of Primal Trust. But somatic therapy is really more so about getting out of your thinking mind and getting more into your body for healing. So I'm really excited about that. I've done like a mini course on somatics, and it helps significantly with anxiety. If I can implement that into my life more frequently, we are going to be golden. And then some other things that I really want to continue. I want to continue healing my digestion. My stomach is definitely my most challenging aspect of the healing journey. That's the one thing that it started with and the one thing that hasn't gone away. And I also believe that that has to do a lot with my emetophobia, which is a severe fear of vomiting. And yeah, I'm hoping that regulating my nervous system will help with that phobia and help with my digestion. I'm really putting it out into the universe because I am very ready to heal that. And then the last thing is I really also want to limit scrolling on my phone in the morning and at night, because I do feel a lot more wired when I do that. So those are my health intentions of the year. So next are going to be travel intentions, and I'm sure a lot of you are here because of all of the travel content that I post. So of course there's going to be travel intentions, and in years past I would have had a list of all of the travel destinations I would want to go to in the new year. I'm not even going to do that this year because I want to just be open to what life has to bring. We have ideas of where we want to go. We want to continue traveling in the slow travel style that we are currently doing, but I just want to be open and embrace newness. That is my number one thing that I wrote down. And the other one that I have that's really big is to stay calm and centered on travel days, which again is going to connect back to my health intention. I have some of my worst flares either on travel days or days leading up to it, because there's this anticipation or anxiety, and it sets off all of these reactions in my body, a lot of times stomach wise. If I can get to the end of the year and see a significant difference in the way that my body reacts to a travel day, I would feel so successful in that. And my last travel intention is to have fun, be joyous, laugh daily, and lean into every experience. And that's it. That's all I'm going to intend for the travel section, and I'm just going to be completely open to whatever else comes in, because I feel like travel is the area of my life that can create some of the most magic. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that. Next is going to be career intentions. So career was my most challenging category of 2023. I am not gonna lie. And again, in years past, I would have written down things like, I want this position in the new year. I want to start this business in the new year. I want to make X amount of money every month or every week in the new year. So instead, we're going to shift that up, and we're going to let the universe take care of those details. And the intentions that I have for my career for this year, for 2024, number one is to feel safe when it comes to career. Instead of resistant, instead of scared and worried and stressed, I just want to feel safe in this space of my life. I also want to create a day-to-day infused with freedom and flexibility. I want to come from a place of creativity and inspiration rather than overwhelm and dependency. I think that I had a habit of getting so overwhelmed with my career. There were too many things I wanted to do. There were not enough opportunities. There was all this conflicting energy, and I was so dependent on that working out to make me happy. But even when it would work out, I wasn't happy because I was thinking of the next thing. So releasing all of that, taking a new approach on this area of life. And the last thing on this list is surrendering to the universe and anchoring into the energy of trust. So I know a lot of these are more so very vague, but I love to be surprised and delighted by the universe. I feel like when I'm trying to call in new things into my life, I can't get down to the detailed specifics because it always works out better than I imagined. And I don't always know what the specific things are that I want. So I like to leave it open and anchor more into the feeling. To end off this video, we're going to do the ins and outs of 2024. Again, this is a big trend that's been happening online, and the ins are anything you want to bring into 2024. The outs are anything you want to leave behind and not bring into the new year. So I'm going to read through my list. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can read along with it if you'd like. And I really love these. I feel like they encapsulate the energy that I want to put into the new year with my best foot forward, and I'm excited about them. So my ins for 2024: living in the present moment and releasing the past or future, feeling content in the little moments, experiencing rather than doing and accomplishing, accepting things as they are, appreciation energy, being in awe of the universe's orchestrations, letting go, surrendering to life and being in flow with it, living in an abundance mindset, synchronicities, invisible strings, serendipity, simplify, 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 staying open to life and living in flow with it, inspiration and creativity, finding the beauty in all things, connecting with nature and activating the senses, bringing consciousness to all situations, gentle movement, slowing down, resting, and love. Lots and lots of love. And now for my outs of 2024. These are things we are leaving behind, we are not engaging in anymore, and we are done with. First, the addiction to stress and adrenaline. The fight, flight, or freeze mode. Again, we're regulating our nervous systems in 2024. The feeling of overwhelm, overstimulation, excessive scrolling on my phone. That's what I'm really going to have to work on. Reading random people's comment sections, attachment to things, trying to control things, a scarcity mindset, overthinking, decision fatigue, guilt, that's a big one for me, trying to go back and change the past, any sort of judgment, particularly on myself, but also on others, an overaccumulation of stuff, so that could be physically or digitally, unattainable expectations of myself, that's a big one, perfectionism, comparison, my happiness being dependent on external circumstances. That's a huge one. And needing things to be a certain way for me to be okay. Again, it comes back to that intention I said at the beginning, which is detachment from the way I think things should be. And those are all of my ins and outs of 2024. My last couple notes, my motto of the year is to focus inwards versus outwards, like I just said. And then my words of the year are peace and implementation. I am very ready to have a sense of internal peace within myself, again, regardless of external situations. And then when it comes to implementation, I have spent the last few years learning and learning and learning, and there's been this missing piece of actually implementing what I've learned. So whether that comes to my health or social media or spiritual practices or things, anything in those realms that I love learning about. I love being a student. I want to learn all day. But if you don't actually implement what you've learned, you're not actually going to see the changes, which is sort of the intention of why you're learning it in the first place. So I want to kind of just experiment with all the things that I've learned and put them into practice. But anyways, I appreciate so much getting to sit down with you all and talk through these beautiful intentions for 2024 and clarifying this vision. I just love the seeds that we're planting right now for the upcoming year. I think that there is just so much potential, limitless potential for anything to happen, which is really beautiful. But again, I think the core of my whole perspective on going into the new year is cultivating a sense of pure contentment throughout the journey. So I hope that you guys enjoyed going through these intentions with me for the new year. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm so excited to go on more adventures and experience more of life and to share it and experience it with you. So we'll see you again next time in the next vlog. But until then, I'm sending you all the love and blessings for the new year. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.